Thank you very much. My name is Lewin. I'm president of the Louis D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under Law, a nonprofit civil rights organization that uses legal initiatives to combat anti-Semitism with a particular focus on university campuses. Our mission is to advance the civil and human rights of the Jewish people and promote justice for all. On campuses today, Jewish students are being marginalized and excluded, particularly from progressive spaces. University administrators misunderstand what they're witnessing. They mistakenly think that what is taking place is a political debate, when it's not. The reason that anti-Semitism is increasing and not decreasing on these campuses is because university administrators are misdiagnosing the problem. They are treating it as a speech issue rather than recognizing the marginalization, harassment, and discrimination that is actually taking place. What's happening today on campuses and beyond is part of an organized, well-funded strategy to marginalize pro-Israel Zionists and deny them a place in society. So there are student groups, for example, that equate Zionism with ethnic cleansing, destruction, mass expulsion, apartheid, and death, in order to label those Jews who support Israel as pariahs. But the problem is that Judaism is not only a religion. Jews also share this sense of Jewish peoplehood with a common ancestry and ethnicity. For centuries, Jews have not only prayed facing Jerusalem, they've prayed for the Jewish return to Jerusalem. I just attended this week two Jewish weddings, and there's a tradition at the wedding to actually break a glass in commemoration of the destruction of the Jewish temple. So there's this tradition that even at the moment of the Jews' greatest joy, they remember that destruction of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. The yearning for Zion and the recognition of Israel as the historic, ancestral Jewish homeland is the glue that's kept Jews connected for millennia, and that is the part of Jewish identity that's now under attack. Of course, not all Jews are Zionists, but for most Jews, this identification with Israel is an expression of their Jewish, ethnic, and ancestral identity. It's as integral to their Jewish identity as observing the Jewish Sabbath or maintaining a kosher diet. Today, Jewish students are being told that they have to shed this part of their Jewish identity in order to be accepted in student clubs or even to feel welcome on campus or comfortable in their classroom. The climate on campus is hostile to this part of Jewish identity, and students feel compelled to shed it. Pressuring a Jewish student to shed the Zionist part of their Jewish identity is no different than demanding that a student stop observing the Jewish Sabbath or stop keeping a kosher diet in order to gain admission. It's comparable to demanding that a Catholic student disavow the Vatican or a Muslim student shed his or her connection to Mecca. No community other than the Jews is being charged such a high price for admission, and excluding an individual in this manner on the basis of their identity is discrimination and has to be recognized as such.
Thank you.
I just have two questions for Ms. Lewin. Ms. Lewin, can you describe the impact of BDS campaigns on Jewish Zionist students on campus?
Certainly. So the problem with the BDS campaigns, especially when they are in the form of a referendum that asks the entire university campus, all students to vote, is that they create a litmus test on campus that ends up making students choose. And the idea is that these referendums end up being supported by almost the entire progressive community on campus. So students are then asked to vote for or against. The for side means you're standing with all these organizations that stand for social and racial justice. If you vote against, you're then immediately viewed as one of the racist oppressors. What happens is if you have a resolution that is denying the right of Jewish self-determination, the Jewish students can't vote in support of it. So automatically the Jews are put on the wrong side of that equation, and it ends up labeling them as pariahs. That's the climate on campus that's caused by these BDS resolutions.
Thank you. Can you discuss SJP, the group called Students for Justice in Palestine? Are they interested in a dialogue?
Yes, I heard earlier that you referenced the Students for Justice in Palestine. So actually, they used to, before COVID, when they had in-person national conferences, they used to post their goals for each conference on their website. And so in 2018, and you can still reference these goals if you go back to the archived websites, in 2018, they actually put up their goals for that year's conference. And in those goals, they said that Zionism is ethnic cleansing, destruction, mass expulsion, apartheid, and death. That's a quote. And they also talked about how Zionism can be destroyed and Zionism can be broken down and dismantled. And then they turned around and they said, we're not only going to talk theory at this conference, but we're actually going to spend time, quote, developing actionable local and regional campaigns with clear targets. If you talk about targets, right, and you want to destroy and dismantle Zionism, then your targets must be pro-Israel Zionist Jews. That's not somebody that's saying, I want to dialogue with a pro-Israel Zionist Jew. That's not somebody who's saying, I want to understand what Zionism is. That's somebody who's saying, I'm demonizing Zionism. I'm going to target those Zionists. Why? To marginalize and exclude those Zionists. And actually, we've seen on campuses now where SJP has started using a map like this, which is a map that labels all of Israel as occupied territory and the entire area as Palestine. There is no Israel here. They're not interested in having a dialogue about the policies of the current government of Israel. They're actually interested in calling for the destruction of the one and only Jewish state.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.